Hi guys, welcome to this conversation titled The Toxic Nature of Feminism. Before I go on to talk about how toxic feminism as a movement actually is, I want to acknowledge something. Behind feminism, there's a genuine need that needs to be addressed. There's a genuine need that needs to be addressed by the society and by men, especially. Because we have been nurtured or grown up in such a form that we begin to see women like second-class citizens, or we begin to see men as superior to women. But the truth is, men are not superior to women. When men are not better than women, so also women are not better than men, and women are not superior to men. The both genders are supposed to work as a unit, as a team, and not as two ends of a spectrum fighting each other. Men think with the logical part of their brain, which is the left part. Women think with the imaginative part of the brain, which is the right part. Now, these two makes up the whole brain. And those who have learned to combine the two in themselves very well become better leaders. Because when you talk about logical thinking, that's when you talk about intelligent quotient. But when you talk about imaginative thinking, that's when you talk about emotional quotient. Now, I see it like there's a third quotient, which is a leadership quotient, that should bind these two. The leadership or the learning quotient, your ability to learn, or your ability to understand yourself as right and left brain person, then merge these two together to create a whole, is what makes you a matured leader or a matured person. So if this is done in an individual, it can also be done between the both genders, because the both genders are supposed to come together as one. That's why the holy writs or the holy literatures of the world emphasize that when a man and a woman get married, they always become one, not two. So we're a team. But this team has not been able to function as a team because of the past nurturing, the past ideologies we have been working with that tells us that men are superior to women. Okay, so there is a need that needs to be addressed in our society today. Now, women are using feminism to address that need. But feminism is more destructive than the actual problem it was trying to solve. So I think that the way forward is what I may call gender roundtable understanding. And what is gender roundtable understanding? Is the both parties, men and women, have to come together. You come together in your relationship, you come together in your marriage, you come together in your friendship, you come together in your association with the woman, and you reason as a team and not we against them. Now, this will give you the window. This will give us the window of understanding how the other person feels, behaves, and the impulses that propel or impel each of the genders to act or behave in the way we're behaving. Then, as a society, we will now begin to understand the generational or the ancient roots of how we were created in this way. Because just the same way that women are being suffocated, men are also being suffocated by the lifestyle we have been groomed into living. One of those suffocations is that a lot of men have become workaholics. We begin to define our lives by our ability to provide for a woman. And in some cases, you find out that you work your life to death just to provide for a woman that does not even appreciate you, or that has a sense of entitlement. The little you can provide, she feels is not enough, and she makes you feel like a failure for not providing for her according to whom she is comparing herself with. So men are also stifled. Men are also suffocating. But because nobody has actually come together, or nobody has actually come to express or define the male aspect of this suffering, it's difficult for us because men, naturally, we have been taught that you have to be a man. Bear your pains, don't show your problems out to anybody, bear it within you, solve your problems in yourself. So a man is going through hell, and sometimes even his best friends don't know how to go about it. Or his best friends don't even know what he's going through because he hasn't told them. They know he's going through challenges, but they don't even talk about it. Because sometimes talking about this challenge has to do with bringing up your emotional side, which men have been taught to suppress. So sometimes when a man is sharing his problems with you, he minimizes the emotional component of the problem. And that robs the problem of its essence. So the listener does not even understand the depth of this problem. So men are also suffocating, just as women are suffocating. That's why there's a need for us to come together as a team and not a thing of we against them. Because if we do we against them, we will never succeed. Rather, we will destroy society and humanity as a species. Because the feminist and masculinist divide has come to a point where some people are no longer interested in getting married. And some people are even training their children not to get married, or how to feel that they can do it alone without the support of the other gender. And this is going to be a disaster for humanity in the future if we continue with that trend. So, the point is there is a need that needs to be addressed, that we have to address as a team and not as we against them. Now, let me get to why I say feminism is toxic, or even more toxic than the problem it seeks to solve. First is that feminists deprive men of their social rights. I don't know if I'm using the right word when I say social rights. What is social right? These are the rights that society has ascribed to the man as his benefit of being in a relationship or in marriage or in friendship. Even marriage is a relationship. So the benefit of being in a relationship with a woman. Like some families you go to now, it's no longer the responsibility of the woman to cook for the man or to make sure there's food on the table when he comes in from work. Now, sometimes this has to do with the fact that women have now entered into the workforce. Hence, their domestic responsibility is no longer important. Even bringing up the child has become an issue in the families. Because when the man tells the woman that if you give birth, you have to stay 3 or 4 years to make sure that this child is properly developed mentally and otherwise and all other aspects. The wife sees it like, you're dominating me. How can you tell me to take care of a child for 4 years? I'll sit down at home. Before that 4 years, I have another one. That means I'll stay at home and stay at home and stay at home. No, I want to go out there and work. So the children are deprived of valuable mother care and valuable moral development that they're supposed to gain at that age. For some women, it's not about the work. It's about social media. It's about flexing. It's about being online. That even a child comes back from school, he's happily trying to show his mom what he did in school today, the schoolwork, and how he scored high. And the mom is not even interested in seeing that. Because to her, she's on social media. Why are you disturbing me? You go to some families, you see the kids are the ones preparing their food when they come back from school because either the mother is at work or she is on social media. Now you have another dangerous trend where you see a lot of children close from school at a very tender age, nursery, primary school. They close from school, they go to the mother's shop and they stay there and play till night. Then the mother goes home with those kids. And tomorrow, the same thing is repeated. That child is placed under an enormous amount of stress because learning for 4 hours is not an easy task. If you think it's easy, you as an adult, try it. Learn for 4 hours, then go out there and try to become constructive or productive. You find out that your efficiency is reduced. Now, it becomes more complex because most times these children do not even understand the reason why they are going to school. They cannot connect that it has to play a role in their future. So for some children, going to school is a bore, is a boredom thing. It's something that they don't even want to. They don't understand. So they don't bring out their best to learn in school. Then after this challenge in school, you now bring the child to a shop or to the office where the mom is. He stays there till late at night, still wearing the school uniform that represents stress and challenge to the child. And sometimes we wonder why we teach and teach and teach and teach and teach, yet these children are not understanding. How will they understand? A child carrying a stress that even an adult cannot carry. How will he understand what's going on? So, women have deprived men of those things that are their right. And while depriving men of their own responsibilities to the men, at the same time, they're expecting or increasing their demands from the men. Because some women will tell you that when a man comes back from work, he should go and fix himself food. He should wash his clothes. He should do this. He should do that. It's no longer my responsibility. Or some women will say that a man coming into the kitchen to help them to cook is part of love. Okay, no problem. It's part of love, yes. But when the bulbs die, when the tire bursts, when there's a need for strong manual labor in the family or in the compound or in the house, are you going to fix that as well? Or you will tell the man that it is his responsibility? So he will do his own responsibility and come and do your own responsibility as well with you as a sign of love. But you will not do his own responsibility as a sign of love. Now, this does more damage to the man because it places more stress on the man. Because I believe that if a survey is done, you find that most men who commit crimes or who steal or who do unscrupulous things to earn so much money, it's just to impress a woman. So the men are already under stress because you have been taught that you must provide for a woman. You must provide for a woman. It doesn't matter whether that woman is appreciative of it or whether she feels that you should do more or whether she wants to kill you. You must provide for her. And in the course of providing for the family, men have been ostracized from their children. Because there's this thing about work. When you go to work, work requires a lot of decisive thinking, sometimes politicking, sometimes domineering nature, those harsh qualities that isolate people from each other. Now you have to sustain this at work for you to survive there, for you to be successful there. That takes a significant chunk of your time away from the children. Now, as a result of misunderstanding between the man and the woman, based on masculinism and feminism, the woman who is closer to the kids at home paints the man as a demon to the kids. So when the man comes back from work with the little he can provide, sometimes his family sees him that he's not doing enough. Because the mother has told them the father is supposed to do this, he's supposed to do this, he cannot provide for the house. Some women will tell you that a man that cannot provide for his family is worse than an infidel. But at the same time, you find out that even some of the women who have entered the workforce and are making money, their own money is for their private agenda. I don't know of other nations, but I know of in Nigeria. Because I know some people who have been abroad will tell you that even when you take a girl out in certain countries, you split the bills. And in some nations, families split the bills. So this may not apply in such cases. But in most cases, it applies. The women make money, it's part of their private purse. It doesn't go into spending for the family. But the man pays the whole bills. I've seen families where the woman make more money than the man, but the man shoulders the whole bills. And on top of that, the woman still expects him to give her money. And if he doesn't do that, he's an evil man. So sometimes you see the man under so much stress, but because society has told him that he has to bear his brunt, he doesn't even complain. He does his best trying to. That's why I think that men die earlier than women all over the world. So, first, men are deprived of their social rights. Then secondly, women are increasing their demand on men by seeing that when a man does their own responsibility, that's the woman's responsibility, it is part of love. And these two things doesn't work. Because It's like we're business partners. We do a business, we make $10 and we share it $5, $5 or $7, $3, depending on our input and all that. Now, let's assume we're sharing it $5. After a while, your business partner now says, I'm going to be collecting $8. You will collect $2. But right now, the work schedule, we're going to divide it. You will now take 90% of the work while I take 10% of the work. Or while I do 10% of the work. If you were that kind of business partner, will you agree to such arrangement? The answer is simple, no, you will not. Because number one, you have been deprived of your own profit from the business, and at the same time, your responsibility is increased. So, this also has caused a lot of divorce in homes. Then the number three reason why feminism is toxic is that some women or feminists, some feminists or most feminists, they challenge men as a way to tell men that we're equal to you. Some women are not even challenging men. They have already bullshitted men, thrown them aside and say what a man can do, a woman can do better. So they are superior to men. Now, when you challenge a man, now let's not forget this man has been groomed from childhood. He has been groomed to understand that he is the leader of the family. You now challenge him. What will he do? He will bring you to submission. Whatever method the man thinks fit, he will use it. If it's the one that beats a woman to pulp, he will beat you to pulp in order to bring you to order. Because he's the leader. And even if a woman doesn't accept that the man is a leader, he's still the leader. But not leadership by tyranny. Rather, leadership by vision and leadership by care. After all, it's the man that pays the bride price of a woman. It's the man that asks her out. It's the man that does everything and leads the relationship to marriage. At least in most cultures, it is not ideal that the woman should ask for the man's hand in marriage. Though women do it, yes, women do it, and maybe with time it will become a normal thing. But for now, it's not really seen as something, except in societies where people are very liberated. So, the man pays the bride price. And the woman changes her name to his name. Now, the woman changes her name to his name as a spiritual symbol of her leaving her father's house and becoming a member of his house. So he is now like her father, while she is now like his mother. But he cannot change his name to hers because he is the one that produces the sperm. So he's the leader, he's the origin, he's the source, he's the father of the family. So, when a woman challenges a man, trying to tell a man that I am equal to you and you must listen to me, you've just created a serious problem in your own family or in your relationship. Because that man will see you as a big problem. Now, there's another subtle way some women do this, which is more disastrous. For some women who are feminists, when a man is dating them, they don't do anything to show they are feminists. Everything the man does, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, because they are looking for marriage. They want to get married to the man. They want the man to accept them as wife materials. Then the man makes a decision based on your yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, that this is a loyal woman. Then after marriage, you now want to show him that you are his equal. You've just set up the formula for chaos in that family. You've set up the equation for chaos. And the two of you will start solving the chaos equation by propounding more chaos formulas. So a solution to this is, if you're a feminist and you want to maintain your standard, from the beginning maintain your standard. If a man comes to you, let him know you're a feminist. So he guides his decision. Then he knows that this woman is a feminist too. If I marry her, I'm marrying a feminist. Then it will also give him room to respect some of your standards or your boundaries. Okay? Now, back to the challenging thing. When women challenge men, one method that most women use in challenging men is quarreling. Because women are designed to talking, while men are designed to use physical strength, beat, fight. Men are not into talking. Now, when women quarrel with men, there are two options. There are two things men do. One, that man will scam from that woman. Or two, that man will beat that woman into submission. The two methods are not right. They are wrong. They are wrong methods of trying to solve a problem. But here, it's not about the problem of we. It's a problem of me against her or her against him. So it's not a collective solution. It's a personal solution that both parties are looking for. So when the man beats the woman to a point, he doesn't care whether beating is right or wrong. Now, when we even talk about beating, that brings us to another point about feminism. Feminists say that men beat women and men should stop beating women. But when you say men should stop beating women, you as a woman, do you beat your children? Do you beat other people? I'm not in support of beating. But some people will justify it by saying spare the rod and spoil the child. When the Bible talks about spare the rod and spoil it, the Bible did not talk about physical beating, physical rod. After all, rod is made of iron. It's not cane. It's talking about the discipline, the moral values that you should instill in a child. Even if the Bible says, okay, in some part it may have said beat somebody, because slaves were beaten by their masters. A master had the legal right to beat his slave, even beat him to death. He may just pay for some things. So, when you say that men should not beat, but you beat the children, how does that make sense? Because what is good for the goose is good for the gooser, according to a comedian. He said it's good for the gooser. So what is good for the goose is good for the gander. Now, for you to effect that men should stop beating you, first you have to stop beating the children. You have to look for other ways of instilling discipline in children, not beating them. And when you beat children, it also reinforces the actual causes of men beating. Because when you beat a male child, what you're telling him is, whenever you disagree with people, beat them into submission. Or when you get angry, because children know that sometimes why their adult parents beat them is not because of the thing they did, it's because of the anger it arouses in the parent or the caregiver. They know, because every human being is a psychologist to an extent. So they know that sometimes when you beat them, you're beating them as a result of anger. So what you're teaching that child is, whenever you're angry with people, beat them. And you expect that when that young man grows up to become a man and he has a girlfriend or he has a wife, that he should not beat her. Why? How won't he beat her? He will beat the daylight out of her because you taught him how to beat people into submission. So, when men quarrel with women, men run away because men are not designed for quarreling. Men Men are designed to drop their guards in the presence of a woman. Because a woman is supposed to provide that soft touch, that nurturing environment, that care environment that replenishes the man. That's why, like, those who know when their husbands or when their man is going through difficult time in the office or in his work or in his endeavor, they have more sex with him to make him feel good. And that recharges the man, that rejuvenates the man. But those who don't know will treat the man like a piece of rag when he's in his low mood. Because generally, when a man is going through a lot of problems that makes him feel that he won't be able to provide for his family, his morale drops, and even it affects his sexual life. So at such times, those women who don't know will treat the man in a way that will make the man feel worse and will damage the relationship the both of them have. So, a woman is not supposed to challenge a man. There are ways to communicate your needs to a man. Every man has a soft spot. Every man has a method through which you can communicate to him. You only need to understand at what stage that man is in his leadership life. He could be a man that privately he has come to understand that there's a need for a change in the way men relate to women. But he doesn't even know how to go about this because maybe he doesn't have the time to read or to inquire or to research and understand a few things so that he can unlearn what he learned as a kid. He doesn't know yet. So it's not really a strong or sound policy that he's applying or abiding by. Then while he's in this state, you, the wife, now come to challenge him. Don't forget that it's not yet a strong principle in him. So if you challenge him, he will react like the person that believes that women are inferior to men. So, women, don't challenge your husband. Don't challenge your man. Find a way to talk to him. Find a way to become his friend. There's a way that you can communicate to a man and he will understand your need. You can even make a man change his ideas about you as a woman. Because there's always a way to communicate to every kind of person. When you learn the method, when you do your digging online, when you research, there are keys to communication, effective communication. And you can communicate. Okay? Now, the fourth reason why I say feminism is more toxic than the challenge it was designed to solve is that some women come to say that they are better than men. But the question is how? How are you better than a man? A man produces sperm. A man produces sperm. A man has RPG. But you have a womb. So how? How are you better? Are you producing sperm? Or do you impregnate women? Biologically, you're different. Psychologically, you're different because men think more from the left brain, the logical part of the brain. It's not like men are not imaginative. Men are imaginative, yes. But most of their imaginations is subject to logic. So you're different. You're not better. Physiologically, we're different. Women have breasts that men suck. Men don't have breasts to suck from each other except the man is a gay or something. Which is actually an aberration as far as I'm concerned. So, women are not better than men. Men are not better than women. We're just two different. We're like, okay, the north and south pole of a magnet. They work together, not against each other. So the two genders are supposed to come together as one and not to fight against each other. Because when a woman says, I am better than a man, she is forced to develop certain male-oriented traits. And this pushes her out of being a woman. Let's take, for instance, I don't know of other parts of the world, but in Nigeria here, I know that most women would do anything not to work under their fellow women. If women are so good, why are women running from them? Why are women running away from working under them? Because they are full of problem. Even when you dress fine, it's a problem to maybe your boss who's a woman. She can just feel that you dress too fine, or why are you always looking so good? All the men in the office are admiring you and none is admiring her. It doesn't matter whether she's married or not. She could be married, but she wants that attention from men. So the fact that a lot of men are giving you attention can be a problem to her. Okay? And she may not even realize that part of the reason why a lot of people are not giving her the attention is because she's so bossy. She has developed all those qualities of men that she has added the feminine emotions to them and has boosted them to a high level that she becomes more toxic than men. So women are not better than men. We're just two people that should come together and work as a team. Now, number 5, or the 5th reason why I say feminism is toxic or will not solve the problems of our modern world. Rather, coming together as a team, men and women, come together as a team will solve our problem, or solve our problem as a team, not as we against them, is that women's love is bought by money. Now, a lot of people may not agree to this, but it's the truth. Women's love is bought by money, because if you're a man, no matter how handsome you are, even if you have 6-pack or 20-pack, if you don't have anything, no woman will love you. Okay, let me not use the word no woman will love you, but the percentage of women who love in that manner are less than 0.01%. Because women are designed by nurturing to love those who are above them. One, you have to be able to provide for her need. So that means you must be financially buoyant, more buoyant than her. Then socially, you should be above her. Women prefer men that are socially above them. Women like it when they know that by being with you, their social reputation goes higher. Though that's not the major criteria. The major criteria is the finances. So women's love is bought by men. I know some people will say, why? Why are you talking like that? Even if there are some women who take up men from men who have nothing, give them everything, do this and all that. No, if you look at most of those women, they are old cargoes that everybody has rejected. And so they look out for a man that hasn't found his footing and shower him love, because they know most men are not matured when it comes to things of love, or most men don't understand these emotional things, because we have been designed to suppress our emotions by our nurturing. So all she does is to open her legs for him. And when he fires 1, 2, 3, he believes, this girl is in love with me. And the next thing she uses her dramatic nature or her finances to grow the friendship into marriage. Now, it is she who married the man. It's not the man that married her. So I'm not going to count those ones as true love, because it's not based on love. It's based on her need for marriage. She wants to answer Mrs. It is so bad in our modern world today that you can meet a girl, maybe you have a button phone. You meet a girl and you want to, when she sizes you and sees that you use a button phone, you don't stand a chance with her. So, women are bought by money. And men understand these things. Because men know that if they don't have any money, most of the women who are with them will not be with them. So when you are being bought for a price, even in bride price, men buys women through bride price. That's why personally I have decided in my life that I'm not going to pay the bride price of my wife because she's priceless to me. And I think that as a matter of urgency, based on feminism and masculinity ideas, bride price should be outdated. Because to an extent, I think that some men have this superiority complex because they pay the bride price for a woman. So to them, mentally, they have bought it. And if you go to certain communities, the bride price is so expensive. You can't imagine a man who hasn't found his footing having to pay 2.5 million naira to buy his wife. And you tell me he didn't buy her. So why did he pay the price? Although in certain cultures, like my culture, the bride price is 25 kobo, which anybody can afford. Up till today, it's 25 kobo. Though some families are beginning to add some money to theirs. But it's 25 kobo. But the point that there is a price paid for a woman, I think it subjects her to a lower level of functioning in the society. So, women's love are bought. And that has to change. Because a man who knows that you are in his life because of the vanity he can provide for you, or because of the social security or financial security that he provides for you, sometimes when you demand for equal right, that man will not listen to you. Because he feels that you're just rebelling against his authority. Because he knows that you can't do without him. So I think the way out is for women as feminists, or as people who want to have an equal standing. The first thing that you need to do as a feminist is to generate your own wealth. To generate your wealth and be able to pay your bills. Because when a woman is able to pay her bills, when a man comes close to that woman, the man is cautious about the things he does. A man cannot come into the life of a woman and just behave anyhow. When that woman is financially stronger than him, the man exercises caution. So I think it starts with being able to pay your bills. When you pay your bills first, let's assume you drive a BMW, or you drive a higher car, or you drive a high car, or you drive a car. And the man coming to ask you out is living with maybe his parents or his friends. He's patching somewhere. And you have your house fully furnished. You have a car. Do you think that man will come into your life and start calling the shots? He will not. Because there's a respect he gives to you based on the fact that you're financially successful. So financial success is key to the process of creating the balance. And I also think that when women get into the workforce and see the challenges involved in making money, becoming successful and all that, and coming home or coming back to spend this whole money on your man or on your family, then it will change some certain perspective. Unlike what we have in present day cases where women work, even the women that work in marriages, their money is for their private agenda while the man foots the whole bill. If you're married and you're listening to this, try something. Just tell your husband to slow down. Let him relax for a while. For like 2 or 3 years, pay the bills of the family. Pay all the bills. In fact, let the man, if he can, let him stay more at home while you go and do the hustling. And let's see if you treat that man like your equal. So, a woman should be able to pay her bills. So she reduces the stress that she places on her man. Because men are suffocating, but cannot say anything. Because we don't have the language of how to express this pain. Now, lastly, there are also some other toxic things that women exhibit that needs to be addressed as part of the teamwork towards creating a balanced society. There are a lot of toxic things in women, toxic attitude, and a lot, just as there are a lot in men. So when women use feminism to counter masculinism, it's more toxic than the masculinism itself. And this will not solve our problem. The solution is for us to come together in a round table and discuss how to solve the problems of humanity today. We can solve it if we work as a team and not as we against them or them against us. We can create a better society. I believe in humanity and I believe in us. I believe we can do greater things than we ever envisaged. So let's come together as a team and let's not work as feminists or masculists. If you have questions, you can leave it down. I will always come back to answer your questions. Thank you for listening. And I hope that this inspires something in you, awakens something in you. I don't expect you to agree with everything I have said. If you have contrary opinions or something, let's discuss it. It's a discussion. It's a conversation. Because I can also learn from you and you can also learn from me. Cheers and thanks for listening. Hi guys. You're welcome to this conversation titled The Toxic Nature of Feminism. Before I go on to talk about how toxic feminism as a movement actually is, I want to acknowledge something. Behind feminism, there's a genuine need that needs to be addressed. There's a genuine need that needs to be addressed by the society and by men, especially. Because we have been nurtured or grown up in such a form that we begin to see women like second-class citizens, or we begin to see men as superior to women. But the truth is, men are not superior to women. When men are not better than women, so also women are not better than men, and women are not superior to men. The both genders are supposed to work as a unit, as a team, and not as two ends of a spectrum fighting each other. Men think with the logical part of their brain, which is the left part. Women think with the imaginative part of the brain, which is the right part. Now, these two makes up the whole brain. And those who have learned to combine the two in themselves very well become better leaders. Because when you talk about logical thinking, that's when you talk about intelligent quotient. But when you talk about imaginative thinking, that's when you talk about emotional quotient. Now, I see it like there's a third quotient, which is a leadership quotient that should bind these two. The leadership or the learning quotient, your ability to learn or your ability to understand yourself as right and left brain person, then merge these two together to create a whole is what makes you a matured leader or a matured person. So if this is done in an individual, it can also be done between the both genders, because the both genders are supposed to come together as one. That's why the holy writs or the holy literatures of the world emphasize that when a man and a woman get married, they always become one, not two. So we're a team. But this team has not been able to function as a team because of the past nurturing, the past ideologies we have been working with that tells us that men are superior to women. Okay, so there is a need that needs to be addressed in our society today. Now, women are using feminism to address that need, but feminism is more destructive than the actual problem it was trying to solve. So I think that the way forward is what I may call gender roundtable understanding. And what is gender roundtable understanding? Is the both parties, men and women, have to come together. You come together in your relationship, you come together in your marriage, you come together in your friendship, you come together in your association with the woman, and you reason as a team and not we against them. Now, this will give you the window, this will give us the window of understanding how the other person feels, behaves, and the impulses that propel or impel each of the genders to act or behave in the way we're behaving. Then, as a society, we will now begin to understand the generational or the ancient roots of how we were created in this way. Because just the same way that women are being suffocated, men are also being suffocated by the lifestyle we have been groomed into living. One of those suffocations is that a lot of men have become workaholics. We begin to define our lives by our ability to provide for a woman. And in some cases, you find out that you work your life to death just to provide for a woman that does not even appreciate you or that has a sense of entitlement. The little you can provide, she feels is not enough, and she makes you feel like a failure for not providing for her according to whom she is comparing herself with. So men are also stifled. Men are also suffocating. But because nobody has actually come together, or nobody has actually come to express or define the male aspect of this suffering, it's difficult for us because men, naturally, we have been taught that you have to be a man. Bear your pains. Don't show your problems out to anybody. Bear it within you. Solve your problems in yourself. So a man is going through hell, and sometimes even his best friends don't know how to go about it. Or his best friends don't even know what he's going through because he hasn't told them. They know he's going through challenges, but they don't even talk about it. Because sometimes talking about this challenge has to do with bringing up your emotional side, which men have been taught to suppress. So sometimes when a man is sharing his problems with you, he minimizes the emotional component of the problem. And that robs the problem of its essence. So the listener does not even understand the depth of this problem. So men are also suffocating, just as women are suffocating. That's why there's a need for us to come together as a team and not a thing of we against them. Because if we do we against them, we will never succeed. Rather, we will destroy society and humanity as a species. Because the feminist and masculinist divide has come to a point where some people are no longer interested in getting married. And some people are even training their children not to get married, or how to feel that they can do it alone without the support of the other gender. And this is going to be a disaster for humanity in the future if we continue with that trend. So, the point is there is a need that needs to be addressed, that we have to address as a team and not as we against them. Now, let me get to why I say feminism